Hello, welcome. My name is Victor Pan, and it's good to see everyone. I thank God for giving me the opportunity to be here with all of you to share some of these important information, these important concepts to improving our life. And one of the things that we discussed last week was information. How important is information is in order for us to transform our lives. But if you look at from the outside, from God wisdom, let's look at the knowledge that we acquire. So where we are today, this microphone right now and this camera that I'm on right now, how did it come to existence? It came to existence because of information. Information is what brought this into existence. All the devices, everything that's around us came to existence because we got information and we're able to create. So information is a very positive thing. It helps to improve our lives. But the question is this: we improve our lives physically in terms of technology, a comfortable home, comfortable work environment, comfortable vehicle you drive from point A to point B, air conditioning. All these things make our life comfortable. But the question is, do we have a peace of mind? Are we comfortable with a peace of mind because we don't have the tools to obtain that? Also, are we comfortable with the life we are currently living? That's really the main question. Are you happy where you are right now? If you look back, if you're not happy, that means there must have been some mistakes you made. And where does mistake come from? Mistakes simply came from because you didn't have the right information to make the right decision. So we're going to explore many different avenues of different wisdom that God has given us in order to live a successful, productive life here, to be content. Imagine you are content with your life. Imagine you are satisfied. You're not looking at anyone else. You're not curious. You're not wondering. You're just simply satisfied with where you are in life. And the only way to obtain that is you need the truth. You need the wisdom in order to obtain that. Because again, if you don't have that information, it cannot be done. Because again, all these devices came to reality. Why? Because the right information, the correct information to create these devices, to create all these objects, all these material that we have. Again, it was information. But the question now is that we want something more that everybody really wants. Everyone wants to be happy. So the question is, how do we obtain that happiness? How do we obtain it? The only way to obtain it is through the Word of God. What He gave us, He gave the Bible. He gave us the Bible. What is the purpose of the Bible? The purpose of the Bible is information how to live here. That's the purpose. Again, if you look into any church, any type of, it doesn't matter what type of religious background you have, everyone is operating based on some type of information their religion relates to. Okay? That's what they're living by, that information. So it doesn't matter what denomination you are, every one of those denominations has information for you to live by. So now let's explore the different avenues, as we mentioned last week in the video, that this life is like having 1,000-piece puzzle in front of us, 1,000 pieces. And we need to know each one in order to live a successful life. It cannot be done. You know what it said? It said even 99% of the truth is still going to be a lie. 99% of the truth is still going to hurt you because it's 99%. It's not 100%. You need 100% of the truth in order for it to work for you. Okay? So again, this is the thing, what's going on. People are getting half information, so they get information from their friends, from their families, from their relatives, from the job, from the news, from the media, and they're trying to put this information together to make it fit into their life, to make it work for them. It doesn't work. Why? Because the information you're receiving is not completely 100%, and that's why it's not working. So in other words, you're playing Russian roulette with information. You're playing Russian roulette with information, hoping this one will work, hoping that one will work. And eventually you give up because why? It all fails and you can't seem to obtain what you really want. So again, this is a very frustrating thing for most people who try to obtain. And sometimes they don't even know. People don't even know they need this information to live the life they really want to live. So this is what I am here today, is to help you fix your life, improve your life. And the only way to do that is through information, through the wisdom that God has given us in order to live a better and healthier, fulfilling life. So one of the pieces that God has given us that we need to explore, we're going to explore today, is fear. Fear. What is fear? Now, most of you might say, well, why should I fear? I should not live in fear. Yeah, it may sound true. You should not live in fear. But again, what does God says? God says the first rule he wants is for you to fear him. Why do I need to fear you? The reason why we don't fear God or take this into serious consideration is because we really don't understand who we are dealing with. We don't know who we're dealing with. So let me give you an example of how you could see why we don't know who we're dealing with. Imagine that you're driving to the supermarket and then there's you and another vehicle, another car is coming out, but you were there first. You were there first, and then this person jumped in front of you and got the parking space. Now, you're mad at this person, okay? You're mad at this person, you start saying things you shouldn't be saying, and then you're walking away. Now later, what happened is this incident was caught, it was caught, and then the police shows up in your house. Not because you did anything wrong. They didn't show up in your house because you did anything wrong. They showed up because they found out on this camera, the person you had this issue with was related to the mob. He was a dangerous man, and he's known to kill people over nothing at all. So the police come knock on your door, and then he says, yes, how can I help you? And then he says, well, were you at this supermarket and you had an incident with this person? And you say, yes, but to you, it meant nothing. It's over with. At least you thought it was over with. Now the police walk into your apartment, the detective, and he says, please have a seat. It's just important we need to talk about what happened today. So he went on to explain and telling you, hey, listen, this guy that you had this confrontation with in the parking lot, he's known to kill people. He's part of the mob, and we're afraid that you're going to be the next person he's coming after. Now, at first, you didn't take it for anything, but the moment you hear that, because if the police show up at your door, you know it has to be serious. So the moment you heard who you were dealing with, suddenly fear is now building up in your heart. You're fearing because you have your family, and he's known to murder and destroy the entire family. So now you're afraid because it has to be serious if this police show up in your apartment or show up to your house. Okay, so now you fear. You fear for your life. You fear for your children's life. Because why? At that moment, you did not know who you were dealing with. You did not know who you're dealing with. But now it's brought to your attention. You know who you're dealing with. Now fear is running through your blood. It's running through your blood. You don't know what to do. Everything's running through your head. What am I going to do? You just realize your life is over as you now know it. It's over. So how am I going to fix this? Can it be fixed? So you see, just the fact that we don't know who we're dealing with, and it's not until later it is presented to us, and now we understand who we're dealing with, it changed the table completely. Everything's changed. Our entire life could be thrown off into a complete different direction that we're not expecting, just over one foolish incident that we thought it was nothing. And this is what happened with us. We go through this life and then we think it's not going to catch up to us. We think just because we did not know, or we don't care, or we ignore it, we didn't think it was a big deal. But it does make a difference, and it depends what it is. So again, in this life, honestly, you need to make the right decision pretty much all the time. We have to make the right decision. So let's look at how fear is beneficial. Why do we need it? So now, just give that explanation about this mobster coming to your house, okay? Fearing, throwing fear into your heart, throwing your whole life upside down now. Now let's look at what fear does. Let's look at it, okay? Is it important? Yes, fear is important. It is important. Why is fear important? Why do we need it? Because fear is a defense mechanism. It's a protection. It's a protection. That's what fear is. For example, if you're on a 10-story floor and then someone trying to push you off, you're afraid, right? Because you know you're going to die if you fall off this building. You're going to die. So you have fear. So you're going to fight. You're going to do everything you can to keep yourself from being thrown from this 10-story building, okay? Because now it becomes a self-preservation. The fear kicks in, and now you're preserving yourself. So now, again, how is this really important? We're going to go more into detail. Every day, we live with fear. Every day we're living with fear. And what do I mean by that? People are afraid of losing their job, especially now these days. People uncertain about what's going on. No one's certain about what the future is going to be anymore. No one's for sure about anything. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. We don't know if the COVID we're gonna get sick, contaminated by COVID ourselves, or our family member or someone we love that's close to us that will take their life. So we don't know. Every day we're living from day to day. It's no longer we're sure of the future anymore. Pretty much everyone is living in fear. And for good reason, because no one wants to die. No one wants a family member to die. So fear makes us be cautious, move forward with caution, making sure we are monitoring what we are doing and how we are doing it. Now, the thing about fear, again, it really is a absolutely wonderful device. It's a self-preservation device, and also it is used to develop you. When you understand the fear, it develops you because it protects you. It's changed your direction. It forces you to change your direction into the right direction. Because why? You understand now this is not the path I need to go because of the fear factor that I can get hurt or someone I love or care for will be hurt by this. So now that will change your direction. You're going to the left, now you're going to the right. So fear is a navigation system that navigates us naturally. It naturally navigates us. So now, again, as I said, we live with many fears: fear of losing our job, fear if we're going to be audited from the IRS, fear of a lawsuit, fear we might get sick, fear we might lose our job, fear if we're going to work late, fear if our kids are going to create problems for us. We're afraid our kids are going to be healthy or they're going to be sick, or they live or not. So we're constantly living with fear. But it feels like it's normal. It is not normal, but we live with it, but it's what's guiding us to do the right thing. You see, that's what's guiding us to do the right thing because the fear. Someone without fear is a dangerous person, also a fool. Okay, dangerous person is a fool, and that person can never have a realistic, complete life. It's just not going to be possible because, again, you're going to constantly put yourself into danger. You cannot have a healthy lifestyle with someone who has no fear. And I see it all the time. People without fear, they don't have a stable life. They really don't. Because they're going to constantly keep getting into trouble. And people don't like people without fear. Because why? You're going to always cross the line. You're going to do something that's insulting, to someone else that they're just going to dislike you. Because why? They show you, because of the lack of fear, it shows you have no shame as well in what you do because you're not afraid, So again, fear is a wonderful thing that we need in our lives to live in this world. So when people say not to live, that you don't live without fear, it depends as well. But if you notice what we just talked about, fear is important. We need it because that's what keeps us on track. That's what keeps us from straying away, falling off the track. As you can see, as I said, God wants us to fear him because when we realize who he really is, you will be completely paralyzed because understanding who you are dealing with. And once you understand who you are dealing with, your entire attitude changes. Your entire perspective changes. Why? Because it puts you on a different path now. From what path? It takes you from the path of not knowing, and now you want to do the right thing. You want to correct whatever it is. See, at this point, when this person realized who he was dealing with in the parking lot, this mobster, it put complete perspective. His thinking has tightened into a focus, into a beam. Okay, now he's focused on this man that might come and look for him and kill him and his family. Why? Because now he's focused. How do I fix this? That's what fear does. It gives us the opportunity to fix our wrong. You see, we do things wrong and it's going to be a price we have to pay for it. So fear allows us, give us the opportunity to be able to fix what we have done. And the thing about it, what I like, is that the power of this fear really can be used in many, many different ways. And one of the most important ways is this. When you think about it, does your child fear you? That's another one. Does your child fear you? What age is he? Does he fear you? Does he have any fear for you? Okay? If your child does not fear you, you probably have a problem right now. You probably have a big problem Why they're not afraid? Why they're not afraid? Because they don't know, or you have not showed them who they are dealing with. Meaning that they see who you are is not somebody that they're afraid of. So therefore, they have no need to fear. But if they understand who you are as a parent, who they're dealing with, they will have fear. Remember when you were growing up? Think about it. Pretty much all of us can say we were afraid of some adult, our mother, our father, uncle, somebody had fear. And think about it. That fear is what kept you in line. That fear is what allowed you to become the person you are today. It's that fear. That fear guided you to be or to stay on the right track. You have to understand again, all these things are wonderful tools God has put into this creation to help us live a better life. That's the purpose of it. It's not for you to say negative things about it, or you shouldn't fear this, or you don't need to fear. All of it has a purpose. Everything you see in creation has a purpose. Okay? Everything has a purpose. And you have to keep in mind that fear is a good thing when it is used properly, when it's applied properly. And it was given to us to use it for us to navigate our life through this world. And not only that, to navigate our children as well. Because these days, think about it, children are really a problem. They're an issue. Why are they an issue? Think about it. Why are you struggling and fighting with your child? Why? Because your child did not fear you. Because if they fear you, they're going to stay in line. Because you know why? And fear brings respect. When your child fear you, it also respect follows that fear. Okay? And think about it too. Are you not afraid of your boss? That's why you stay in line. When you go to work, yes sir, no sir. Why do you say that? Because fear of your boss, right? You don't want to get fired. You see? So there are certain people you're afraid of. Why? Simply because if you don't fear them, you're going to lose out. You're going to lose something that you need, is why you're fearing them. So that way you can keep yourself in line with that person. And the boss is a perfect example. So we are afraid of our boss. Most of us. We're afraid of losing our job. Supervisor, whoever that person may be, because we know that person has certain control over our lives. They have certain control. But look how easy it is to fear man. We fear our boss. And why? Imagine now you're speeding on the highway, doing 85 and the speed limit is 60 or 70. And the moment you see a police officer, boom, you hit the brakes. Why? Why all of a sudden you hit the brakes? You get fear. Look how fear kicks in. What did fear just do for you? Fear just simply kept you from getting a ticket. That's what fear has done. It kept you from getting a speeding ticket. You see how fear is protecting you? But we don't think about it in that sense. We don't realize that. So it is a very important tool. I hope that this message has helped you. Again, please subscribe. If you know people who needs this information, family members, friends, share this video with them. Because why? It is developing. It is getting those different pieces of puzzles, understanding how to apply, understanding why it's there. What's the purpose of fear? Why do I need it? Because fear will transform your life in many ways you can't even begin to imagine. But it's because we are unaware of it. And if you saw, or if you place fear into your child, you would have a different outcome today with that child. It wouldn't be that what you're going through right now. And I see it all the time, ladies and gentlemen. Fear must be there for all of us. Without fear, we are not going nowhere. Matter of fact, without fear, we can end up destroying our own lives and our children's lives as well. Because why? Fear leads to death. We need fear for us to stay sustained, for us to grow, and for us to develop, and for us to have a fulfilled, meaningful life. I'm happy to be here with you. We're going to keep working on how to improve our lives by using this wisdom that God has given us. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see all of you next week. Bye-bye.